Hello there, people of the internet, it's RISTRIDI with a new video for you. For a long time people have asked me, well, how do you get your tone? And now my little guide is finally here. So, how do I get a good guitar tone? What affects the tone? And how should you set your amps? Let's roll the intro. Today's video is sponsored by Gamsco, an online platform on which you can save lots of money by using shared subscription services. So I think if it's your goal to get a good sound, it's important to look at every step in the signal chain, from the beginning, the player, until the very end, you're monitoring. First, obviously, you've got the guitar player. That guitar is plugged into an amp with a cab or an impulse response. Depending on your setup, your signal now goes into your interface. Then the signal enters your digital audio workstation. In the mixing phase, you make adjustments like equalizing or reverb. Then the sound goes from your loudspeakers into your room and then into your ears. Every single one of these aspects affects your tone. However, some are more important than others. In this video, I will concentrate on the, in my opinion, most important aspects. The player, the guitar, how to set up your amp and effects, and what you should pay attention to with your monitoring and your room. If you want to learn something about the other points, just leave a comment down below. First of all, you've got the player. I hate to tell you, but you need to practice. A lot of what you sound like is in fact in your hands, as people say it. The more you practice, the better your technique will get, the better you will sound. It's a hard truth, but I think it's the most important rule. Practice, practice, practice. Dedicate yourself to the guitar. Set goals that don't seem reachable yet and just try to get better at the instrument itself. It really is the most important tip I can give you. Your monitoring situation. If you want to get a better tone, it's crucial that you can actually judge what you're hearing correctly. You should have good monitoring loudspeakers that give you an accurate, neutral representation of what you're actually doing. Also, the dimensions of your room's frequency response, and the reverberation time of your room play a big role as well. So first, you should get a decent pair of monitoring speakers. I'm using the Yamaha HS-ATM monitoring speakers, these ones right here, for years now, and while they're not perfect, they do the job quite well. These together cost around, I think, 500 euros or so, and they're worth it. I'm also using a software called SonarWorks Sound ID Reference to flatten the frequency response of my speakers. What Sound ID Reference actually does is, you measure your room with a microphone they provide, which has its own frequency response, and then you've got an EQ curve that is applied to your outputs, so that what you're hearing is as neutral as possible. This tool is so powerful, and if you want to get into recording, you should think about getting it. It makes you get a much more neutral frequency response. Another thing you should consider is getting room treatment or building it yourself. This will significantly lower your room reverberation time and thus give you the possibility to better judge what you are hearing, because the sound waves that reflect from the walls, they're not as strong anymore, and you can hear more clearly what you're doing. I, for example, have recently built some new absorbers for my room, and the difference, I have to tell you, is huge. I can hear much better what I'm actually doing while setting up my guitar tone. So now, let's get to today's sponsor. There are so many streaming services around today, so that it gets very expensive to have an account at each one of them. You either have to accept paying a lot for streaming, or you do a lot of platform hopping, which is, let's be honest, annoying. This site called Gamsco has a really neat solution for this problem. Gamsco is a platform that will help you save money by gaining access to shared accounts for streaming content and more. They, for example, have Netflix Ultra HD available from $5 per month, or Spotify starting at $2.50, Disney+, Crunchyroll, NordVPN. Hell, they even offer AI services or the infamous Adobe Creative Cloud. All of this is completely legal. I think this is a really great way to save money, and you can even support me by using my affiliate link to make a subscription there. I'm actually going to get 20% of your subscription fee, and I even have a promo code for you which will give you a 5% discount. Just use the code BASIC with a Y if you want to subscribe there. That way you save money and you even support me without any extra cost for you. But now let's get back to your tone. Your amp. For getting a good sound, of course, you also need a good amp. I, at one point, just took the short route and bought an amp modeler, Camper Profiler in my case, which is what I would recommend to you if you want to become a professional guitar player, or even, use a Fractal FX, XFX, or let's say a Neural DSP Cortex. They're all really great products. I just happen to use a Kemper. But if you're only a hobby guitarist, I would recommend using plugins because they're really good by now. So, like I said, I mainly use a Kemper Profiler. What do I do to get a good tone on that? I think the most important rule is keep it simple. For rhythm tones, I rarely use more than a tube screamer and a noise gate before the amp model I'm using. The main amp models I'm using on my Kemper are from Lars Lütke. It's the Mars SL 100, the Edwaha 153, and the Diesel Hagen. I really like these models and I can only recommend them. For a good lead tone, I usually just boost the gain up a little bit and then, well, I boost the mids still a little bit, turn up the volume a tiny bit, and then I use a modulator on it, like a slow chorus effect, so it gets more like a stereo kind of vibe, and then a stereo delay as the last effect. If you're buying a plugin for your tone, I basically can recommend anything by Bogren Digital. They're really affordable. They're also, I think, on discount right now for like $25 or something. And yeah, he makes a lot of great amp modelings. And I still have one big tip for you: practice with as little gain as necessary. I can tell you, you will have to play more accurately, but in the end it will benefit your tone and it will benefit your playing. My guideline would be only use as much gain on your guitar so that sliding on the guitar string with your finger still sounds rather dry than distorted. Your guitar. Of course, your actual guitar also affects your tone, but maybe not in the way you think. While the wood on your instrument is actually important for how it feels when you play the guitar, like the vibrations and things like that, it's actually not as important for the sound of your guitar. There are many discussions online about tone wood. I don't believe that it makes a big difference. Maybe do your own research to get an opinion on that. And much more important than the right tone wood is using fresh strings and good pickups. For strings, I use Rotosound Whites for my Jackson and Rotosound Orange on my Lark. Talking about pickups, I've grown to love the Seymour Duncan TB6 pickups at the bridge position on my Jackson for rhythm tones, and the DiMarzio DP, the tone zone humbuckers for lead tones on my Lark Rockline Snakeskin. As far as the guitars go, of course, you're free to like whatever you like, and what I've grown to love over the years are my Jackson SL2A in charcoal grey for my rhythm playing. I really love that guitar, and the best guitar I've ever owned, the Lark Rockline Snakeskin with scalloped frets from the 12th fret upwards as my lead playing guitar. It's a 1990 custom shop guitar made in France, and I haven't played anything like it since. It plays like a dream. So if you ever get the possibility to get one of these guitars, you should think about buying it. So I hope that cleared some things up. I know I haven't talked about impulse responses, but that topic is really not my specialty. I know it makes a big difference in your sound, but I haven't really spent much time with experimenting with impulse responses, so that's more a topic for you if you want to do your next video. So leave a comment what you would like to see next and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Bye bye.